This is an example of the data extraction and merging work that has to be done for project 2, location strategy. And so the steps that we're going to go through are these. First, we're going to do some preparatory work. We're going to create a folder. We're going to download a copy of the 6 data sets. Then we're going to convert one of these files, counties.json, into counties.csv. And then we're going to open up and save each data set as a CSV file. I've discovered when using Google Colab that importing CSV files is more straightforward and avoids some problems that not always, but sometimes occur. So let's do these preparatory steps first. So we'll go to the course website, and on the website, we will go to Datasets, and under Datasets, we'll scroll down to Geographic Location Data. They're described here, but we want to click up here in the title. The title takes us to the Google Drive folder with all the datasets in here. So we're going to grab all of these, including the README file, which has further information on these. And we're going to drag and drop this, or we're just going to right-click and click download. So it's zipping up the files. And over here on the left, I have the downloads directory. So it should show up there once this is zipped and downloaded. They're, reasonably sized, so it takes a little bit of time for it to finish doing this. So as we go through this video, feel free to just fast forward to the sections that are helpful to you and skip the other parts. In the meantime, what do? I guess I tell jokes here. There we go. It showed up. Here's the download, and I'll double click on that. I'm on a Mac, and so it expands it out, and so now I can see all the files that are here. So I'm going to grab these actually, and I'm going to put them up here into this folder that I created called Extract and Merge. The other thing I've discovered is if you have a local folder for it, there's some issues using Google Drive when you take a CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated values. So when you take a CSV file and you drag it into Google Drive folder, it converts it into G Sheets, which then can cause some complications with Google Colab. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to convert counties.json right here into counties.csv. So we're going to open up Google Colab. When we open up Google Colab, on the left, we have a little folder, and in this folder, we can drag the file. So we're going to drag counties.json into this. Gives us a warning because we're sharing time in the cloud, and so when this project goes away, then the files are no longer there. So there's counties.json, it read it in. And then the details on what to do are actually listed in the README file over here. So if we take a look at this README file, in the README file, there's some text that suggests how to do this conversion. Import a JSON file and flatten it and convert it to save it as a new CSV file. So that's what we want to do. So we're going to start coding, but it's helpful to put some text in describing what it is that we're doing. So let's put some text up here. And the first thing we're going to say is, click, convert counties.json to counties.csv. Okay, that's the first thing. And now we're going to come down here. And we're going to generate with AI. This one here, we can just get rid of. We have extras here. So we're going to generate code with AI. Once we click on this, the prompt window shows up down at the bottom. And so we are going to say read in counties.json and convert it to a new CSV file called counties.csv. And then instead of just saying read, sometimes it attempts to just do all the work instead of generating the code for it, and that can be a little inconvenient going back and forth. So we'll just say generate the Python code to read in counties and convert it like that. Okay, so let's try that. Press enter, It's working. It's figuring out what's the Python code to do these instructions. It's interpreting the instructions and generates the Python code shown in green up here. So now I'm going to close this out down here, and I'm going to look at this code, and then I'm going to click on the arrow to run it. If you want to, you can look through it and see if it looks reasonable, if names of things seem to be correct. And so it creates counties.csv over here on the left-hand side. So we're going to take counties.csv and we are going to download that. It'll show up over here in our downloads in a moment. Thinking, downloading. Hamsters are running furiously in the background, making everything work. And did it go? I don't know. Seems like it successfully converted it, and I thought I downloaded it. And it should show up here in downloads. Let me scroll down on the left-hand side, make sure I'm clicked on downloads. Here it is. This folder changed. So here's counties.csv. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to get rid of counties.json. I'll sort of clean up as we go. So counties.csv. Next thing you want to do is take all these XLSX files. So these are Excel files, and we're going to convert them into CSV files. So start right at the top, open it up. It'll open up in Excel, and it opens up in a really big window. Let me collapse it down so it fits in our field of view here. So here we go. And then on the upper left of the screen, of the entire screen, so it's not in this window, there's the file option, and under file, save as. And save as, it asks what kind of file do you want to save it as, and we want to save it as a CSV file. So save it as CSV. Oh, we can't do it because we have these things down below here. So we can choose all of these tabs down below, so it can't flatten multiple tabs into a single two-dimensional table. So I collected, you can select them individually. I've selected the range of them, right-click on it, and click on delete. And warning, worried about it, so we delete it. So we've deleted them there. And now we can do the process that we did before, which is go up on the upper left of the screen, in my case on a Mac, File, menu option, then Save As, CSV, and we can save it. Do you want to replace it? Yeah, let's replace it. Okay. So now when we look over here, we've got 500 cities, and just for convenience, we might want to rename this and simplify the name a little bit, just to 500 cities. So it's a little easier to work with, and we'll get the old one and get rid of it. So now we're going to repeat that for these others as well. So we'll go to city, state, county, which shows the correspondence between the cities and state and the county names that we have on record. So we'll open that up. And our spreadsheet, again, opens up really huge. Minimize it so it fits in our field of view here. Again, we have these tabs. We know that's going to cause a problem, so we highlight them. We delete those extra tabs. You sure you want to do this? Yes. Upper left of the screen, File, Save As. And not Excel, but we want to save it as CSV. And you can fast forward in this little section because we're doing the same thing for all these. Cost of living, same thing, we open it up. And cost of living does not have any extra tabs, so up to the File, Save As, and choose CSV option here. And that shows up there. And remember, you can always go back and download them to get that additional information in those other tabs. So cost of living, maybe we will simplify this as well. Cost of living. Okay. Actually, if we were to look in the background, this is a CSV file. So it has an extension .csv, which is hidden. So this is going to end up being 500cities.csv.csv, but that's okay. It won't hurt it. County risks down here. again, it gets exploded up into the whole screen, which is larger than what we're viewing. And we have a whole bunch of other tabs down here. Choose all of them, delete them, warning message, we're fine, and go to File, Save As, and save it as CSV. Okay, and get rid of the old one. And income by city looks like it's the last one. And just so you can see what's happening here, so I'm on a bigger screen. Again, we're going to get rid of these. Delete those extra tabs and up to the File menu, Save As, and we will save as CSV, comma separated values. And there we go. So income by city. Move to trash. Okay, so we now have these CSV files. Now we're going to start working with them. So counties.csv has already been converted. So that's what we did in this text. And so the next sequence of steps are we did all this, the preparatory work. The next slide here is extract and combine these fields. So we have these steps right here that we're going to do. And so, you know, you can do it as you go, but it's not a bad idea to go in right now into Google Colab and come here, add some text. And this is all the stuff that we're going to add for each of these steps. I'm going to paste it off to the side here and paste these steps in one by one and make multiple text fields here. I think there's about 7 of them. Okay, so this top step is for each of the 500 cities. Do this. Okay. Second step here is merge these. Third step, merge in the mean income. And the next step, merge these with education with bachelor's degree. Okay. And these then we can get rid of. There could be some additional steps along the way. Okay, so these are the steps we want to go through. Up here at the top, text here, convert. Oh no, we did already have that up there as this thing up here, so we can get rid of this. So this is what I was referring to. So we convert counties.json to counties.csv. Here's the code to do that. So we're already done with that. Hide code. If I right click on it, I can hide code. Show code. Interesting why it's doubling it. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, well, lots to learn. So we did that, hide the code. I don't know. Well, let's not worry about it. Okay, so let's grab this and move it down. So now, next step, for each of the 500 largest cities, extract city, state, and percentage of the population with short sleep, storing the result in citysleep.csv. So if I just type that in, I don't know that that's going to work, but I'm going to go try it and let's just see what happens. I think I need to be more specific, but let's go generate with AI code. For each of the cities, extract city, state, and percent of the population with short sleep. So let's see what it does. I think that there'll be problems with this. Generating code, thinking. For instance, short sleep, I don't know that it's called short sleep. So if we go and look at the resulting code in here, so we got city name, state abbreviation. Oh, okay. So that might be like right. So if we go and look at 500 cities here, and we take a look at the fields that are in this, we can see that it's place name, state abbreviation, and then we're looking, we're scrolling over there for the sleep. These are about alphabetical order. So it's just called sleep here. And so city name, state abbreviation. Okay, so city name, I don't think it was called city name. I think it was called something else. Place name, state abbreviation. So place name, I think that'll cause it to choke. But let's try it just so we can see the experience of this. So run the cell to look at the output. File not, okay, these are the exceptions, so let's run it. The file 500 cities, blah, 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 was not found. Okay, so remember we changed, so we didn't drag the data set in, so we have to drag the data set in. So we drag it in, and it's just called 500 cities. So we could either regenerate the code and specifically refer to it. So I think let's just skip some of these steps here. Let's look at the data set. Let's put the specific names in there of what we want and maximize our chances. So for instance, here it's called city name, state abbreviation, and we know that city name is not right. That's not what it looks like in there. It's taking a little bit of time to upload this data set. Tells us how much space we have available. So I think we should be fine with regards to disk usage. Thinking, thinking, thinking. We could also get rid of counties.json. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so now 500 cities.csv is up there. And so let's change this. So there's the old prompt. And let's create the new prompt in here. Say open 500 cities.csv and extract. And so we want city, state, and percent of the population. So let's go back and look at the names of these. So it's place name, state abbreviation. So these two things. So, and extract. Whoops, that's no good. Place name, state abbreviation, and sleep. Renaming these to city, state, sleep. Store the results in a new data set called, and what were our instructions here? Storing it in citysleep.csv called citysleep.csv. Okay, so that's what we want to do. That's a little more specific, and I think we'll have a better chance with that. So that's our prompt. And so now we're going to click on this or go to the bottom, toggle Gemini, and we'll say build this. So this one here, we're going to make that one go away, and we're going to have the new one. Uh-oh, maybe I caused a problem. This one needs to go down out of the way. Let's go back up here and see. All right, so here it is. Place name, state abbreviation looks reasonable and is renaming them, it looks like here, into the new names. Okay, not all required. Now we're getting an error message here. Not all required columns are found in the input file. Well, let's go look at that again. So let's open that file up here. State abbreviation place name, like there it is. Like why aren't they found? And so we would look at the file, we would fiddle a little bit, we would ask it for some help. Let's see, is this the old one? And the new one down below here? I think we have two different versions in here now. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so let's go back and try it one more time here and run it and go down and see what the results are. Saved it to citysleep.csv. So let's go take a look at citysleep.csv, or alternatively, let's see, citysleep.csv. So we have city, state, and sleep, 41.5, Birmingham, Alabama. And if we were to go look at the original data set, Birmingham, Alabama, and then the sleep value, where is it? 41.5. So it looks about right. So the one issue that it might figure out, but it might cause a problem, and it has caused a problem for me in the past doing this exact same exercise, is notice that this top row has a bunch of numbers in it to figure out how many fields there are beyond the original identifying in place information. So the 1, 2, like this whole column. So it assumes that the titles at the top of the first column are the field descriptors for each column. And here it isn't, because it has this, but it looks like it figured it out. But you might need to either give it the instructions, skip the top row, or you could go into the data set and explicitly delete those. Either one of those would work for our purposes. So we've now created City Sleep. And so let's grab City Sleep and download that. And here's City Sleep, and we'll put it up here. So 500 cities, we extracted City Sleep, and on to the next step. Here we go. So merge these results with the county value. So we want to find out for each city, what county is it in? So let's try this as is and see what happens. So let's generate some code, generate with AI, paste it in there. Oh, you know what though? County value from city, state, county, CSV. So we have to bring that in. So city, state, county, CSV. We know we have to upload that. And let's see what happens. So technically, the database language is join as opposed to merge, but merge is how we think about it in English. So we're going to try just the English version first and see if it does the right thing for us. Okay, did we? I guess we didn't press enter yet. So there's really a lot of things that can go wrong. And as you get more familiar with it, you become faster at fixing the problems. I'm still relatively new at the Google Colab environment. And so here we go. And so we'll run this. Notice that we're doing one step at a time, adding one thing at a time. And that way, when something goes wrong, we have a pretty good idea what part is right so far and where the problems might lie. If you tried to write one prompt to do all of it at one shot, if it works, like great, you're lucky. But probably there'd be issues, and then you're like, well, I don't know where the issue is. So I do recommend doing one step at a time. Plus, you can kind of look at it and get a sense, like here at the top, we recognize some of the names of things, and we can see if maybe that's causing a problem. So let's look here. Successfully merge the data with these, and we have city, state, county information now. So city, state, county. So now we can download that. You can click on it and look at it in here within Google Colab, which is a little less convenient unless you have more space on your screen, or you can download it as I've done here and then like put it in your folder where you're keeping everything in there. City, state, county, CSV. Um, let's see. Did we make a mistake here? Are we overwriting? So the county value from city, state, county into city, sleep, county to make city, sleep, county. So this is the one that we want to download, not city, state, county. We can get rid of these. These are old. City, sleep, county. That's the new one that we created. I had the name wrong. As the saying goes, the devil and the angels are in the details. One little thing goes wrong and it can throw everything off. But, you know, ChatGPT tries to be helpful and positive. So it'll say, good job, good question, even though like you may not be doing a good job. So now we've created city, sleep, county, which we detail right here. And because we put the comments in ahead of time, it's a little easier for us to keep track of what we've done and what we're still doing. So they merge these results with the mean income from income by city, CSV, storing the result in city, sleep, county, income. To avoid problems, I happen to know that this is a little bit of an issue because if we look at income by city, let's look at income by city here. Here's income by city. And when we open that up and we're looking for the mean income, so, well, here, income mean, that might work. Income mean, income median, and it's spelled income, it's spelled wrong there. Look at that. All right, so income mean, let's try it and see what happens. So merge these results. So let's grab this. And if we click here, we want some code and we want to generate with AI. And then here it is. I view AI in this context, Gemini, as an idiot savant, that it really knows a lot about particular detailed things, but doesn't know about the whole world. So accept and run. There we go. And let's see. So here's the information. Did it actually run it? Is it thinking? And it looks like it's executing here. The last run cell. And otherwise we'd go up here and run it ourselves. But I think it's running it and going to show us, but I'm not sure. Here we go. Looks like it's running and it thinks that it's running. If I clicked on it, interrupt execution, so I'll leave it. Okay, error. One of the input files was not found. Income by city CSV is not found. Please ensure city, sleep, county CSV and income by city CSV are in the correct directory. Okay. A trick that you can use here is, so income by city CSV, like an income, oh, we just forgot to drag it in. That's the problem. Okay. So as you can see, if you keep track of everything in your head and all the details, then you may not have these problems. But if you're like me and you occasionally forget things or you're focusing on one thing, you forget another thing, then you have these problems. So there it is. So let's try it again and see what we get. So notice like we're like adding one column at a time. So first we had city sleep and then city sleep and county. And now we're going to have city sleep, county, and what is it? An income, if it works. Okay, I have some other error. Typically, you learn more from the errors than from everything working fine. So missing or expected column for merging. So state, mean income are not in there. Check the column names in your CSV files. Okay, so the ones we already created are probably fine. So it's probably the new one, which is probably income by city. So let's look at income by city. Let's open that up and let's look at the names of the fields. So we want city and state, right? So city is there, that looks good, but state, no. So we want state underscore abbreviation there. So we could either rename it here or rename it in the code. This time around, I'm just going to rename it here like this. So now we have city and state. That should be right. And then for good measure, let's just call it mean income. Mean underscore income so it doesn't get confused, which it might figure it out, but it might not. Mean income like that. Okay. So save those values. And now if you forgot to upload it with the changes, so like here we could go edit and change it here, but income by city. So I'm going to delete this one. Delete the file. And we just change this one. So that's an example where if you update it over here, it doesn't update here in Google Colab again. Angels and the devil are in the details. So now we go. So if we want to double check on it, we can click on it, open it up right here, make sure in our environment we have state code, state name, and then there's state. So, and city, that looks good. And mean income. So it looks like we're all good with that. Okay. Now in here, we can either regenerate it, the code with the correct things, or we could just go in and edit it ourselves. So let's try the editing approach of just editing it ourselves. So city, state, and then mean, and then we had underscore income. Those are the actual names. It would have worked fine if you deleted it and regenerated it, but here we're just trying it this way. And then let's go, is it anything else in here? Let's look. I think that's it. So rerun. And about this time, maybe it's good to get coffee. Ask yourself, are we having fun yet? As mentioned in class about this, turns out that this part of the work ends up being a significant amount of the effort. The really fun, flashy parts of making the graph and all, that comes at the very end. So like something like 50 to 90% of the work is this sort of thing, little details, pulling out what you need to know, figuring out what's meaningful. So the better you are at this part of it, the quicker you can get to the other stuff. So successfully merged the data and created now city, sleep, county, income. Okay, so that's this one. City, sleep, county, income. So let's download that so that we have it. Again, if I took a break for a coffee right now and then got distracted and watched a TV show and had a conversation with a friend, all fun things are good things to do, and I came back and this had timed out or came back the next day, it's possible that it would have stored the notebook, all the code on the right-hand side, but these data sets would all go away. So you would lose your work unless you save them somewhere else, which is why I'm downloading them to downloads and putting them in a folder locally here on my computer so that next time I could open up this project, and if the data is not in there, I could grab the data that I want to work with and drag it back in. So here it's still doing the download, it's thinking, and for good measure along the way, if you were doing this as a job, at each step you'd want to go in and manually verify maybe the top values, the bottom values, and one in the middle to look at it and go, oh yeah, it looks like it's doing the right thing. Because sometimes it does the right things around the edges, but it doesn't do it right all the way through. So city, sleep, county, income. So there we go. And then we want to merge this with the bachelor's degree from counties. Okay, so let's try that. See if it can figure that out. So let's generate some code, generate with AI. Here it is. Merge these results with the bachelor's. So when I say these results, it's the previous data set that was created. So if they can't figure that out, I would explicitly put that in there. But let's try it, see what happens. All right. It's experimenting. It's the interesting thing about Gen AI. Like something doesn't work, and then a month later or a couple months later, now it works. Like it has become smarter or better at understanding what we as humans would assume to be true when another human says it. So let's just take a look here. So city, sleep, county, income. Okay, so it did figure out that the connection up here at the top, it looks like it's the right thing. And then the output file, it has the new name. So it's renaming the columns, identify the column. That's the part that I think could get messed up. Getting the column names exactly right here. Verify actually column name. Yeah. We could run it and I think it'll choke, but let's go ahead and fix it. So when we say extract the bachelor's plus one in counties.csv, let's go look at counties.csv over here. And where's the bachelor's plus field and what's the actual name? It'll save us from having to go in and fiddle. So up here at the top are all these names. And so we are looking for education related one. Okay, so I don't see it. Edu. Oh, look at this. Okay. So this is the first time that we're using the counties data, and it looks like it didn't flatten everything. So the educational fields are all still in one big long string here. It didn't pull everything out. So flatten means pull like less than high school, make that a separate field. High school, make it a separate field. Some college, bachelor's plus, which is the part we want. It's embedded inside of this string. So we need to go back to the step where we extracted counties.json into counties.csv, and we need to flatten all the fields in here. So let's go and try that first as an extra step. So before we try this, we are going to add first some text, additional text, and let's move this up. And in this text, we're fully flatten, and it's counties.csv so that I will just say read in and fully flatten counties.csv so that, yeah, creating counties2.csv. Okay. And let's grab that and let's generate some new code and try that and see if it can figure out. Oh, counties.csv, is that in there? I think it is, right? Move this over. Yeah, it's in there, counties.csv. Read in and fully flatten counties.csv. So if we go to look at the documentation, counties.csv has lots of information per county. So when this exploded out, I think there may be hundreds of different columns, hundreds of fields. Okay. So here it is. Counties to counties 2, fully flatten it. Okay. Let's run it. Created a flattened version as counties2.csv. Here's counties2.csv. And let's download this so we could take a look at it and have it. And we might just replace counties.csv with this new one. So here it is. And let's see if it looks like it's been flattened, like if the educational part is now available and not embedded in a string in one of the columns. Well, no, no, we still got some stuff in here. It does not look like it's fully flattened. And education, it has not done it. Counties too. Um, Based on the df variable's content, it's already a flat table, flat structure. No, so this isn't right. So we could go back to the original one and pull it out. If we look at counties 2 here, so now the results of a previous step we forgot to check when we pulled it out and flattened it. And because we skipped that step, now we have a problem later down the line. So this zip codes has a list of zip codes. I suppose we could just ask it now because all we care about here is education. And we could ask it to try and do that. But let's go back and try and do the original step over again and do it right, so to speak. So counties.csv, I'm going to delete that. We're going to go back and re-download the original counties. So let's see, we have to go to the datasets counties.json. We're going to download this. Right click and download. And we'll try and be more specific in that prompt. So it's downloading. It's downloaded and has to update here on my local machine. Thinking, come on, you can do it. It's taking some time. There it is, counties.json. We'll pull that in, and this is what we're going to flatten. So let's go back to that top step. The good thing is, because we know that we put some documentation, some descriptions, that we have this stuff up here. So we need to change this code, so I'm just going to make that disappear. And up here, we're going to add some code, generate with AI. We're going to say read in counties.json, which reminds me, we have to upload that. Read in counties.json and fully, or I could say, and recursively fully flatten it into counties.csv. Recursively means flatten it, like pull fields out, because there could be strings within strings. So pull it out, and then each of those, pull it out even more if you need to. So everything ends up being its own separate column. Let's try this. This might work. The other interesting thing about Gen AI like this is when you ask the exact same prompt more than once, you could get different results, like different code or a different approach to do the same thing. So let's try accept and run and close this out. Here's the code. It's running. Flattened. DF flattened. Well, we'll see what we get from this. The recursively flattened, I don't know if it recursively flattened it, saved it to counties.csv. Here's the old counties that we had, which we're going to also delete. And counties.csv is what was just created right now. So I'm going to download it. It's easier to look at over here. Counties.csv. Okay. Now let's see what we have. All right. So first of all, the slider is smaller, which implies maybe there's more columns. So now look at this, right? Everything is pulled out into its own separate column, blah, 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 blah. And we know it was like bachelor's something. So now we can use this. We can grab a particular column. We could do a search on batch, like for bachelor's. Here we go. EDU bachelor's. And maybe we want to highlight this row and say wrap text. There we go. So bachelor's. Let's search on that again. Oh, great. Not that. We want to be on the top row. Bachelor's. EDU bachelor's plus. So this is the field right here. Okay. So this is the name that we want to use. And this is, so notice high school education, some college education, bachelor's education. There's 3 different fields or less than high school education. There's not just one measure for education. So if you thought education was important, you'd have to figure out either pull all these out separately or use just one of them or combine them. Like get a combined formula somehow of like maybe this has a little bit of weight and this is more and more and this even more to give a sense overall like how educated is the population in that county. So this is the field that we care about here, okay? And so now, save, sure, fine. Now this is that step down at the bottom where it's asking. I'm getting a little bit lost, like where is this? Let's see. From bachelor's degree from counties SCSV, storing the result, okay. So this is it, counties, read it in. And this is where it warned us, verify. So here is the column name, and we just copied and pasted it. So here, I'm going to delete, whoops, undo, and I'm going to paste edu.bachelors plus in there. That's the column name. Let's try it. Could still be a naming issue in there. Otherwise, we can go back, regenerate all the code with the right stuff in it so we don't have to hunt and through here. So if you're a Python programmer, you can go through and look and go, oh yeah, it's this line right here. If you're not a Python programmer, then it might be easier to say, oh, just do this step over again for me. Also, it's a little easier when you have a little wider screen. You can sort of see all the lines without scrolling back and forth on it. So it's thinking, which suggests maybe to me that it's actually doing the work as opposed to like couldn't find it from the get-go. I think maybe it did find it. So it's pulling that out, is merging it with the other data set. And if we go to the bottom, successfully merged into city, sleep, county income data. So let's see here, city, sleep, county, income. City, sleep, county, and income. City, sleep, is that right? City, sleep, county, income, education. Here it is. Okay, yeah, it hadn't shown up yet. And we will download this one, and then we are done. We can do, now we could like do the graphs. We could read this in and say, make a heat map for the values that are in here, or make a scatter plot between these two, do other sorts of analysis with it. It's still doing the download. And again, remember, if you don't do the download, when you come back later, you'd have to drag the data sets in, rerun the code to do the analysis on them before you could get it, which is why you want to save them somewhere and keep track of the results. Still, and then here it is, and let's drag it in. Okay, and we can look at it. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. This data set's too large for the Excel grid. Okay. So one of the reasons we're using Colab is that often if you're working with large data sets, they could be larger than what fits into Excel. Here, I don't know what's happening, if it loaded it after all or not, but Okay, so this does not look right. I have city, Birmingham, Alabama, and they're all the same city, and these are all the same entries. It's a mean income, and the bachelor's value is not there. So we'd have to go back at other steps and see like where did we go wrong with this. Don't save. And if I open city, sleep, county, income, education in here, so something went wrong. So file's too large to display. Yeah, great. Okay. Other thing that you can do sometimes is you can open it with a different program. So let's see we could see what the size of this thing is. 92 meg. Yeah, something happened there. I think it got confused. And that's where we have multiple duplicate entries. So anyhow, that's the mechanism. And we need to go back and figure out. So if we go, get rid of these things. If we go back to the previous step was city, sleep, county, income, but without the education on it. If we look at that, also too large. Okay, so something happened. I'll further back there. Note to self, check the results of the work at each step before going on. And if something's messed up, we can regenerate code, try and figure it out, try and be more specific. So something happened in there. But that's the mechanism that you need to go through for this process of extracting and merging fields, also called features, from files.